In the summer of 2021, a young woman from Long Island, New York, set out on an adventure that would capture the attention of the entire nation. Gabby Petito, a 22-year-old aspiring social media influencer, embarked on a road trip across the United States with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. What was supposed to be a journey of self-discovery, exploring the beauty of national parks, and sharing moments with her followers, would quickly spiral into a story of heartbreak and tragedy. By the time Gabby's name was on everyone's lips, her life had ended, and her killer was still on the run. Her disappearance and death became one of the most talked about true crime stories of 2021, and as the details unraveled, the case exposed not only the chilling sequence of events, but also a deeper conversation about relationships, control, and the dark side of social media. Gabby and Brian had been in a relationship for more than 2 years. They were childhood sweethearts from Blue Point, New York. In July 2021, they decided to take a road trip across the country. Gabby, who had a strong social media presence, planned to document their journey, sharing pictures of scenic views, picturesque campsites, and moments of happiness with her online audience. But after a month of silence, Gabby's family became concerned. By September 11th, they reported her missing. Brian had returned home to Florida without Gabby, and that's when the public's attention turned to him. As the days passed and the search for Gabby intensified, the media and the public began to ask more questions. What happened on that road trip? Why had Brian come back without her? And why was he refusing to speak to authorities? These questions, and the answers that came with them, would send shockwaves through the world. On July 2nd, 2021, Gabby and Brian hit the road in a converted van, ready to embrace a nomadic lifestyle. They visited some of the country's most iconic national parks, including Zion, Bryce Canyon, and Arches, sharing beautiful pictures and video clips of their journey. Gabby, ever the optimist, made regular posts to Instagram, giving her followers glimpses into her adventure. But behind the scenes, there were signs that things were not as perfect as they seemed. Close friends and family members later revealed that Gabby had been in a toxic relationship with Brian. Tensions had been building between the two, and there were reports of arguments and disputes during their travels. In one instance, on August 12, 2021, they were pulled over by the police in Moab, Utah, after a 911 call reported a domestic dispute. Body cam footage from the stop showed Gabby visibly upset, while Brian seemed calm and detached. Gabby admitted that they had been fighting and said that Brian had been angry during their trip. The officers did not arrest either of them, but recommended that they spend the night apart, and they let the couple go with a warning. This was the first time that the public got a glimpse of the strained dynamics between Brian and Gabby. But no one could have predicted that just a few weeks later, Gabby would be dead. By the time Gabby's family reported her missing on September 11th, 2021, Brian Laundrie had already returned to Florida. Alone, he arrived back at his parents' home on September 1st, without any explanation of where Gabby was. Gabby's last known communication was on August 25th, when she sent her mother a text message saying that she was in Grand Teton National Park. After that, all communication stopped. Gabby's family immediately reached out to the authorities, but Brian refused to cooperate. He hired a lawyer, and his family remained silent. This fueled speculation and distrust. The couple's social media accounts, once filled with happy moments, were now sources of clues and scrutiny. Gabby's followers began analyzing every detail of her posts, looking for hidden messages or signs of distress. The case quickly gained national attention. Thousands of people on social media, along with a few true crime enthusiasts, started piecing together the timeline of Gabby's last days. But while everyone was searching for answers, Brian was nowhere to be found. On September 14th, 2021, Brian's parents claimed that their son had gone on a hike in the nearby Carlton Reserve, but he never came back. The search for Gabby was officially launched, and soon after, attention shifted to Brian. Police FBI agents and volunteers scoured the vast nature reserves in Florida, looking for any trace of him. Meanwhile, Gabby's family continued their own campaign, pleading for information. But there was something that made this case different. It wasn't just the disappearance of a young woman. It was the mysterious silence of the man who was supposed to be her fiancé. Brian's behavior was raising more red flags. His refusal to speak to the police and the fact that he returned home alone without any explanation only added to the mystery. With each passing day, the question on everyone's mind became clearer. Where was Gabby, and what had happened to her? Finally, after days of media coverage and a nationwide search, the police discovered a breakthrough. Brian's remains were found in the Carlton Reserve on October 20th, 2021. The discovery of his body answered some questions, but it also raised many more. On September 19th, 2021, more than 2 weeks after Gabby was reported missing, a body was found in a remote area of Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. The remains were later confirmed to be Gabby Petito's. The medical examiner's report ruled her death a homicide, with blunt force trauma and strangulation as the causes of death. Her family, who had been tirelessly searching for answers, were devastated by the news. They now had the painful confirmation that their daughter was dead, but they still didn't know why or how. Was this the tragic result of an abusive relationship? Or had something more sinister taken place? Brian Laundrie's remains were discovered a month later, but the circumstances surrounding his death only deepened the mystery. The FBI determined that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Some believed Brian's death was a confession to what he had done to Gabby, but no one would ever truly know the details of his actions. Gabby Petito's death shocked the world, but it also sparked an important conversation about domestic violence, control, and the dangers of toxic relationships. The case garnered widespread attention, with millions of people following the investigation on social media and news outlets. Gabby's story has since become a symbol of the many women who go missing and whose cases don't receive the same level of media coverage. In the wake of her tragic death, Gabby's family has advocated for justice and awareness. They have worked to ensure that no one forgets what happened to their daughter and that her story helps others avoid a similar fate. Gabby's father, Joseph Petito, has since used his platform to raise awareness about missing persons and to help other families in similar situations. Gabby Petito's case also revealed the dark side of social media, showing how a seemingly perfect life online can hide deeper issues behind the scenes. It brought to light the importance of recognizing signs of abuse and speaking out before it's too late. As we remember Gabby Petito, we also remember the lessons her story teaches us. We must be vigilant in recognizing signs of abuse, and we must continue to advocate for those who are silenced by fear or manipulation. Gabby's life, her journey, and her tragic death should never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please reach out for help. No one should ever feel trapped or alone.